Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Critical Content News. The genocide in Gaza continues, and in America this week, President-elect Donald Trump has announced his nominations for the top roles in his new cabinet. We're going to examine these picks and their positions on Palestine. First, we turn to Marco Rubio, Trump's pick for Secretary of State. Senator Rubio is a stalwart supporter of Israel. During the 2016 Republican primary debate in Texas, Rubio underscored his commitment to Israel, arguing that Palestinians are acting in bad faith and claiming that they teach their 4-year-old children that killing Jews is a glorious thing.
Because you cannot be an honest broker in a dispute between two sides in which one of the sides is constantly acting in bad faith. The Palestinian Authority has walked away from multiple efforts to make peace. Very generous offers from the Israelis. Instead, here's what the Palestinians do. They teach their 4-year-old children that killing Jews is a glorious thing.
Critics argue that Rubio's statements and policy views suggest an unyielding stance that could lead to further escalation in the region. Next, Pete Hegseth, Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, who brings a mix of military experience and media presence. A former US Army officer turned Fox News host, Hegseth's views on Israel are clear-cut and controversial. In a 2018 speech in Jerusalem, Hegseth dismissed the viability of a two-state solution and even hinted at the demolition of the Al-Aqsa Mosque to make place for a third temple.
1917 was a miracle. 1948 was a miracle. 1967 was a miracle. 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
And when it comes to civilian casualties, Hegseth has been notably dismissive. During the Great March of Return protests in 2018, when asked about Israeli snipers targeting children, Hegseth infamously replied, "Meh." Next, we turn to former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, who is slated to be the new US ambassador to Israel. Huckabee, an evangelical Christian, has a history of aligning religious beliefs with political policy, especially when it comes to Israeli territorial claims. Back in 2006, he remarked that there is no such thing as a Palestinian. And his views not only reject the notion of a Palestinian state, but cast Israel's claim to the land as divinely mandated. Observers suggest that Huckabee's approach could embolden settlement construction and strain further peace negotiations.
I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
Elise Stephanic is Trump's choice for ambassador to the United Nations, and she is known for her sharp rhetoric and unyielding defense of Israel. During a May 2024 address to the Israeli Knesset, Stephanic described Israel's war on Gaza as a battle between good and evil. She also took a hard line on Palestinian refugee assistance, supporting Trump's decision to withdraw US funding from the UNRWA, an agency which helps displaced Palestinians.
And finally, President Trump's wise decision to call out UNRWA for what it is, a hive of anti-Semitism, and to eliminate every dollar of U.S. funding.
Lastly, Mike Waltz, Trump's appointee for National Security Advisor, who has a long history of supporting Israeli military initiatives and has taken a hardline stance on Iran. In August 2024, he applauded Prime Minister Netanyahu's strong actions against Iran and credited Trump-era sanctions with crippling the Iranian economy.
You know, ignite all of those pagers, maybe one of the most brilliant military operations I've heard of.
Yeah, Sean, the Israelis know how to send a message, don't they? And pun intended there. But this was a masterful covert operation.
In summary, President-elect Trump's nominees represent a steadfast pro-Israel ideology. What this means for peace and stability in the region remains to be seen.